Greetings. So, I want to say to you, sometimes you're dealt a shitty hand. Pardon my language, kids. But you can always control how you respond to the hand that you're dealt. You can always control how you play the hand that you're dealt. And more often than not, in the game of cards, in the game of poker, you're not playing your hand as much as you're playing your opponent's. You've heard of the expression of like what a bluff is. I could have a pair of aces. It's the best hand in the book, best starting hand in the book. And I can still lose whatever hand that is if my opponent has a hand that ultimately is just a luckier hand. To the same token, I could be dealt a 2-7 offsuit, which in poker is the worst hand that you can get. But I can still win that hand. I can still win that particular round, depending on how I approach the game, to my opponent. And that metaphor, I think, is pretty solid, if you ask me. Because in life, too, you could be dealt the best of circumstances, and this is just for the sake of just, playing out a scenario, Say you were born into a very rich family. You never had to work a day in your life. Okay, everything was kind of always there for you. You didn't have to struggle or grind. You could be dealt that perfect starting hand, and then somewhere along the way, you're unhappy still. You've heard plenty about people that get born into money, that are born into very fortunate circumstances. Their life doesn't end up being, a productive or a fruitful one. And then on the other side, you could be born into poverty. You could be born into a family where, it's family member after family member, they are in jail, or they, just are never able to make something of themselves. And you can still be a success. You could still be a productive member of society. You could still achieve greatness. It doesn't necessarily matter where you start from. At least it doesn't matter as much as how you play the hand that you're dealt. And I'm bringing this up because I know, if you watching this, if you're listening to this, if you have a job that at times can get on your nerves, that can really just get under your skin, it's important to remember the power you have in just your response to things. And you need to, in those moments especially, remember why you even wake up and go to work in the first place. Not even just work, but you say you need to go get your license renewed or whatever, and you go to the DMV, and people hate that place, right? All right, but that doesn't stop you from walking into the DMV and just being a pleasant person and looking at the things that you have to be thankful for in that moment. Especially the past 6 months, like people in a lot of cases have been, trapped inside their own home. Like they haven't even had the ability to go out into the world and connect with new people and make new connections, new relationships. So, especially now, if, you have to go into the DMV, maybe that's one way you can look at the situation. I get to go out and speak to somebody I've never spoken to. Maybe they have something to say or perspective that I had never looked at things through or looked at things from. There's always a way you can frame things that makes the situation you're dealing with a little bit better or a little bit more glass half full rather than glass half empty. And it goes back to this phrase of impose your will. And I keep saying this especially lately because there's this inspirational speaker named Inky who was a college athlete about to turn pro, and he suffered a career-ending injury, and his whole life up until that point was about making it into the NFL, like going pro. And he had done everything right. And he had come from a family of hardship and of struggle, and he had come up with people around him saying, you're not supposed to do this, or you don't have what it takes, it's not in you. Constant doubters. And he still got to that point of his dreams being within an arm's reach of becoming a reality. And life swept the rug from underneath him. And that's why I say it's not so much about the hand you're dealt, it's about how you play the hand that you're dealt. And in Inky Johnson's case, he was able to make a living, make a career out of being able to speak to other people, to other young kids who are on, or who were on a similar path, or maybe they started from similar circumstances, and maybe they also were told from other people that they don't have what it takes to do what they want, or to follow their dreams, to be successful. And so now he's built this tremendously successful career out of being a voice for younger people, and even for other people around the same age, for whoever to look to. A voice that tells them that they can do what it is in their heart that they want to do, what they dream of doing. And it doesn't matter what life throws at you, because in his case, he did everything right and still physically was not able to do what his mind had told him he had wanted to do all those years. And he was able to still play the hand he was dealt. I can't say to perfection, nothing's perfect, but as best as he could. And that's all it's about. It's just about doing all you can to live right by what's in your heart, and what it is you want to achieve, what legacy you want to leave behind. So again, I say, impose your will. Remember why you even wake up, and why you step out the door, and why you breathe. Like, we all have something that we're living for, someone we're living for. So in times of struggle, in times you're dealing with someone who's just a negative influence on you, or you're dealing with this very crappy scenario, this tough situation in your life, remember, you choose how you respond to everything. So peace out. Remember, impose your will. I gotta get back to work, so I'll talk to y'all soon.